Well, look who we have in the studio with us today, Mr. Tony Exum. A little delayed, but that's okay. This is a special program today, so that's what's nice about it. Hey, Tony, how are you, brother?
Pretty good, man. Yes, sir.
Long haul all the way from Colorado Springs. Now is like this major. It's like on Fridays. It's what do they call it? So I don't call it rush hour because nobody's rushing. Everybody's in.
Yeah, it's just everybody's out driving. I
Yeah.
don't know what to call it.
I know.
It's crazy.
You can get $1 for every car that goes by. Lord, you'd be rich in about a half hour.
Yeah.
So Tony, you got all this new music coming out, right?
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh! So we got it going on here. We're gonna bring you some really good stuff. We're gonna talk to Tony about all his new music and what he's got going on. And you know, you've got some dates and stuff coming on. So we're gonna talk a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
And some of your travels because you go out of state and you do
Uh-huh.
other events in other cities and stuff.
Yes.
Let's talk about that right away.
Man, it's been a long journey. You know, I think when I first came on years ago, I was touring back then, but not quite as much as I am now. So it's been growing. Been playing all over. Like, you know, more and more cities getting added to the calendar. So this weekend I'll be in the Chicago area, Lockport, Illinois, with two of my sax brothers, D. Lucas and Marquell Jordan. Some of you probably remember Marquell. He was with the Brian Culberson band for a long time. D. Lucas and I have been doing shows here in Denver for years, so we teamed up as Nothing But the Sax, as we call it.
And I like that. That's really a good theme. You know, nothing but the sax.
Yeah,
you know?
so
and you brought
nice.
D. Lucas to us.
Yeah.
And we got to interview him over at Soil Dove.
Yes.
And
yeah.
but man, did you hear what happened to the Soil Dove?
I
Lord,
sure
like
did.
Jesus, who knows what goes on behind closed doors?
I know, you never know. It's a shocker to everybody. I'll never
Everybody's
forget.
like, huh?
Yeah, people are like, is it coming back? And from what I understand, it's done.
It's
over.
gone.
It's gone. So that's heartbreaking because that was a major place for us in Denver and a lot for the genre. You know, for contemporary jazz, that was the home for Denver, Colorado.
And everybody went there. It's to sell
Yeah.
out all the shows. It was
Yeah.
the acoustics were good, the sound system, lighting, everything. And you want to have a good night out, you go there, go watch Tony Exum or D. Lucas, whoever was showing up there, you know, and it's like gone. And you just read about what the family was doing, like you said. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors, you know? Like,
yeah, it's kind of sad, you know, that it's a family thing. But you know, hopefully somebody will come around and decide to
open it up,
open
and
it
go.
back up, or create another venue and have the same kind of business model, and you know, keep that live music and those touring artists coming through Denver. You know, it's really important that we keep that going. This is a great place.
And it's nice to see all these kind of things going on in the
Yeah.
Denver area. But there's been some changes, a lot of changes that are going on. And what's nice about it is, as the changes come, like I was just telling you about the post, it's spelled Prost, but it's pronounced post because in German R isn't pronounced. It's like, but it's a nice venue. It's an outdoor, like it's a beer garden. It's indoor, outdoor, because they couldn't open it up and stuff. But you know, there's all these new places popping up.
Right. I love it. I really do. I think it's incredible. You know, that it seems like it's just a new season happening because you know even Herman's is going away.
Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah. I've played there a few times. That's historic right there. That's like it's kind of sad, but sometimes I guess things have to change and new traditions have to start. So, you know, maybe that place will last for another 60 years, just like Herman's Hideaway did, and it'll be another place for artists to do their thing. So, you know, it's just, I guess, time for a change.
It's nice you came in here. You see the change that happened to KUHS.
Yeah, this is good stuff, man. I like it.
It's everybody walks in here and says, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
it's different.
It's better. It's way better. It's just you guys have grown quite a bit. I love it.
It's come out a long ways, and it looks sharp now for us. And we're pushing all the different artists here in Denver, so they have anything they want. We'll go to any part of the world now, and so you know, Ewan did Reveille. She was doing a red carpet thing out of Holland.
Right.
And she did a live feed, did all these nice things. So we carried all these things with her, and so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're pushing all these really cool things, and you've got a show coming over at Dazzle. What's the theme on that one?
The theme is this is for the first time in my whole career. I'm doing just my music.
Isn't that slick?
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and I've been putting it off and kind of letting other things influence my decision. And I put a thing on Facebook. Should I do a tribute show? Should I just do another show? Should I just play my own music? the overwhelming majority of people who commented said,
Do
we want to
your
hear
own
you.
mute, yes.
You know, we can hear covers anytime. We want to hear you. So I said, okay.
And then put on a show when you come and do your variables of your music.
Yeah.
Because the way you project so well with
Thank you.
your music. And, you've done a Sonny Lawson Parks, you've done all these different
Right.
areas. You've gone all over. Spangalangs is
Yes.
a big one that you do. And
Yeah.
that's really neat. It's like,
Yeah, I love playing Spangalang. It's right there in the heart of the 5 Points, the historic part
they're
of Denver.
changing. They're changing.
Yeah, bringing that live music back. That was the Harlem of the West, as they call it back in the day. So that's
The
important,
Harlem
and
of the West.
I brought that up to to the audience. Like, do you understand the grounds you're walking on? There's some greatness that was in this area for
A long time.
So, this is a historic part of Colorado, and so to be back there in a spot that showcases live music and celebrates live music, and and the vibe there is cool, the food is good, the drinks are good, so it's nothing for me to pop up and play. It's important that I do that. As much as I travel, I don't want my fans here to think I've forgotten about it, because it was them that started me. So.
And I was talking to this gal. She was here. She just missed you. She wanted to meet you and stuff. She's got an international modeling agency, and she also has a PR firm. That she just wanted to meet you and see what you were doing.
Yeah.
And she says, "Wow, the way," because we were looking at some of your videos, and she was saying, "Man, the delivery of his sax, Jesus." She was, the way you come across. That's you stand up there and you just feel it. Now, when you go to, we've talked about this before, but when you go to other cities and how they react to you and how you feel and how they treat you, every city's different.
Yes.
Sometimes you think, hey, do they like me? They're not really clapping, but man, you've got them
sometimes
mesmerized.
Yeah, it varies. Some places really, you can take a page out of the book as far as their appreciation for music. There's some cities that they're all over it. I remember doing a show in Phoenix, Arizona, in the Chandler area, and it was with me and a violinist, Dominic Hammonds. We did a combined show together, and it was a Sunday afternoon. It's summertime, it's hot as I don't know what, of course, in Phoenix. But those people were so ready that was one of the first times that I walked out on stage. We hadn't even hit a note yet. We walked out, and they just went
standing
crazy.
ovation.
It was like a standing ovation for. Some people just stood up.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is going to be an incredible night, and it
Yeah.
was one of the best performances I've ever had. Other places, are
And that energy just soaks into you. Too.
Yeah, we just harness it, and then we dictate the energy as artists. I tell artists this all the time. Like, you have the crowd. Don't let the crowd dictate your energy.
No, because
you change the atmosphere. You dictate the atmosphere. Do the best you can to try to create that atmosphere. So when they do it for you in a positive way, then it just
lights you up.
Yeah, it lights you up, and me and Dominic put on one of our best performances. We've done several shows together, and so I plan on going back. But I've always had a strong fan base in Phoenix, so it's almost like a second homecoming for that, But some places,
they're gonna have you back for another show.
Yeah. Some places are funny. Some places are, they just, I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like,
Like,
you gotta warm up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to know what songs to play to get their attention. So there's certain songs in certain places. If you do it well, then you got them in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. Then you can go.
You can play your stuff, and they're all ears. So.
And you're going to be over at Dazzle. You're going to be doing your own music now. Was that one or two shows?
That's going to be one show.
One show. Because sometimes they have the dual shows.
Yeah. Yeah. This time's going to be one show, but I've already booked. Check this out, everybody. I'll give you a little. So April 19th, 2025, God willing.
Wow, Jesus. That don't sound right.
That's the April 18th is my 50th birthday, so I'm doing my 50th birthday bash at Dazzle.
Oh,
I just did one this year, and it sold out. So
of
they asked
course.
me to come back. I said, yeah, of course. We can make this a tradition. So April 19th, 2025 is going to be my 50th birthday party concert, and I'll probably do 2 shows for that. So just to let everybody know right now, that's already on the books.
Get your tickets right. The place is sold out tonight.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that too, and celebrating 5-0. So.
Yes, and it's nice to have the birthday parties because so many people come out to appreciate you. They know you. They will celebrate you, celebrate your life as a musician, as Tony Exum Jr.
Yes.
Now you corrected that poster right away.
Right.
Come on, Henry, it's Junior.
Yeah,
that's my dad's name. Come on.
Yeah, I have to do that because it's got to a point where because he's a politician.
That's right. So it stands out.
State senator, former state representative, now senator. So we both have to use the junior and senior now because
they get that mixed up because he's
Yeah.
popular. His name
Oh,
is
he's
popular. And
very much so. You know, we both have kind of a brand with our name, senior and junior.
yeah,
so.
I knew that when you told me. I
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was like-
chuckled. I said, I got it. You don't have to tell me. I know.
Yeah, somebody just put Exum and didn't put either the suffix on some flyer,
Lord.
and they just people went to TonyExum.com, which is my father's website.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they thought it was him,
Yeah.
and kind of mixed things up. So we both make it a point to make sure
Junior, yeah.
You
And
know,
I knew what that was.
Yeah, you know me for forever. So I was like, oh yeah, throw the junior on there so they don't they'll go to the wrong, for social media.
And what's nice how we do it is if we change the poster and if it's up and we have to change it, we only change it one spot and it changes it all across the board instantaneously for in case, Because
Yeah.
one time we had the wrong date or the wrong time going on, and we had to change it immediately, and it changed quickly. With yours, I didn't launch it yet.
Right.
Yeah, I said make sure everything's right, and you right. We said this, and that. Can you
Yeah.
add this? And that's easy, So and then we launch it, so we don't have to go back and do any corrections.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but it's,
No, but in dealing in other cities, does it still count out there?
Yeah.
Junior, senior, so.
It definitely does. It kind of cracks me up because I was playing a spot. There's a gentleman named Dwayne Seeger. Big shout out to Dwayne Seeger. He's out there in Athens, Georgia, and he's a radio host on the college station. University of Georgia at Athens. It's called WXAG, and he does a smooth jazz show on Saturdays 4 to 6, and so I play out there, once a year most of the time. So the first time I went out there, there's a spot called the Foundry. Foundry's famous for where REM, the band REM, that's where they started.
Wow.
From Athens.
Yeah.
So playing, and he's announcing my name. He's not saying Junior.
Oh shoot.
He's like, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Exum. Ladies and Tony Exum. And so, these ladies that were there started Googling, and they went to TonyExum.com.
Your father.
It's my father's side. But what was funny is a couple of ladies said, well, that's your dad? I'm like, yeah, that's my dad. And they're like, well, can he come with you next time you're here? I was like, see, man, I said, I can't compete with my dad.
Take your dad with you.
Yeah, so I texted Dad. I said, Dad, you've been requested, so you got to come with me to Athens.
Has he ever traveled with you? Go to some of your gigs?
Not yet. I mean, he supports
Serious?
everything I do, but
he don't travel to come to your gigs and check it out?
well, my dad doesn't like to fly anymore, so I have to play places that are close. He was supposed to come to Phoenix the last time I was there because he plays softball.
Oh, okay.
He still plays softball. He still reps basketball. He's been doing that since before I was born. So he's still in shape enough to do athletics. So sometimes if I have something close by wherever he's doing that, especially in the summertime, he'll make it there. But he has yet to actually just come on the road with me. But I think one of these times I decide to drive out, I'll have him come down. But he doesn't. He stopped flying a long time ago. So that's mainly the reason why. But he was willing to make that trip. So. I've been talking to Dwayne about booking something, so maybe I'll get back out there to Athens and I can drag him along.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, well, then, we get to tell you guys about all this kind of stuff because a lot of people don't know, and then when you do find out that his dad is a senator, state senator,
Yeah.
It's really cool to have that. It's like, that's impressive.
It is. It
Yeah.
is great. He's doing a great job, it's been a good journey watching him as a elected official, starting out with the representative, he was state representative for all terms, and then term limits, he decided to go for Senate, and won that by a landslide, so that's his new journey now.
Because that shows you what kind of individual your father is.
Yeah.
Because when you win by a landslide, people like you and they like who you are, what you do.
Yeah, he's got, he's one
He's
of
going to leave a
guys-
legacy.
Yes, he does, and I tell them all the time, like, this legacy that we're both leaving for my daughters, their children, our family name, is really important to me. So it's a blessing.
Are your daughters? We talked about this before. That they're taking up music too.
A little bit.
Sometimes they go their own way. That's just the way it is.
I think my youngest, she's got a creative streak in her, so she's either going to get into some video stuff. Right now, she's saying that she wants to do criminal justice, but she's got this creative thing about her. I watch her little TikToks and her little Snapchats, and
she goes somewhere else. Yeah,
she's got a talent for that kind of stuff, So they both love music, and they both support their dad. My oldest is coming out to see me now. Like, she's getting a little older, so she's appreciating live music.
She likes to go see her dad.
So now she's
jamming.
right. So now she's coming out and checking me out. My youngest, It's like she thinks it's cool, but you know, she just
Still.
turned 20, so she's like,
she's still cool.
it's daddy's music, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
daddy's music.
yeah, my oldest, she's like, oh no, I get it. And so she shows up to Spangler and other places, and she's right there,
Loving it.
cheering me on,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
it's fun to see your daughters there. It's like, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
You know,
something
it's
good.
funny because when my daughter, youngest one, is here, she lives in Connecticut, but when she's with me, you know, in the past before she graduated high school, you know, I'd have her every summer, and she would be my little assistant. She'd come on some of the gigs I could take her to, and I wouldn't have to say much to her. She'd get my water
Arrange
for me.
everything, do everything.
Yeah,
for you.
she'd be right there by my side, making sure I was good. And so I said, okay, well, that's what you're gonna do, you know. And I'm thinking you can have fun, you know. But she's like, no, Dad,
I'll
I'll
care
take
of
pictures.
it.
I'll whatever you need me to do. And it's so cool.
It's like you don't even have to say a thing. 'Cause
No,
she's like, oh,
she just started doing stuff, and she was doing it well. I was like, well,
okay, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, she's like, my daughter's got it. Don't worry about it. So you know, that's a beautiful thing. I love
Yeah.
both my girls.
Isn't that cool?
It is.
Yes,
it is.
it's really neat. And it's nice to see, you know, like you said, you know, we both know that sometimes they don't go the route you're going, but do they have to? No, they go the route they want to go, but
Yeah.
they support you.
Yeah.
And, you know, you support them, and you see, sometimes they say, I want to become a doctor, I want to become an airline pilot.
Yeah, you know, my thing is whatever they want to do, that's what I support.
Yeah, here's something very interesting that my youngest son had 2 daughters, you know, like you're talking about. And then he was wanting a son. I wanted to play basketball, baseball, and all that stuff. Well, the youngest daughter became very tall. Guess what
Oh.
happened? She became a
Oh, that's awesome.
and went to the championship in her school and won it and
That's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, and won it. It was
Best of both worlds.
yeah. So I told him, so what happened? You don't have a son, but you have
Right.
his daughter. Look at it. He goes, man, I can't believe it.
That's awesome.
You don't know which way they're gonna go.
That's
you
true.
know?
That's true. You know, our children, as I've always said, you know, our children.
You're setting the legacy, like you said.
Yeah.
And they're following you behind you, and you're teaching them
Yeah,
well.
I just want them
Tony.
to do whatever they do it well, be great at it, you know.
And you
find
support
their
it. You
passion,
support it.
And I support it, you know. I want them to do. I mean, first and foremost, that both my girls are just good individuals. They're just solid, good people. And that was the biggest thing. Whatever they decide to do, it didn't have to be music. I mean, my youngest daughter was playing guitar for a little while, but you know, it just wasn't her passion. So we just invested in it because you never know.
Yeah, that's what you know. That's what we were saying. You don't know which way it goes, and all of a sudden, like there was a gal here, Cass Clayton.
Mhm.
She started at I think 49, 50 years old, and
Yeah.
within 5 years got 3 albums out and kicking ass all over. It's like
She's good.
she just happened to have it. She discovered something
Yeah.
at a later age,
Yep.
and it's like whoa, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know when it's going to hit you, and you don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's like even with you, Tony, you've had a couple of hits out there, 5 hits, 7. To me, all your albums are great. You could put the entire album out, pull out your wine, your cheese, whatever, crackers, sit there and listen to Tony Exum.
Yeah.
And or put it on his videos and watch him live.
I love it.
It's nice to see the delivery and how well you've progressed in life, because you've been here before. I was
Yeah.
looking way back at some of the photos and some of the videos.
Yeah, man, we've been doing this for a while. That's
long
why
time,
you crossed my mind. I thought, you know, it's been way too long. I haven't been up there. I gotta show some love and keep
And we've
this
been
thing
doing
going.
all these other things, and just like you said, you see this change that
Yeah.
we did here, and
love
it's,
it.
yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
It is.
It's
is.
something different, and so
You know,
and
stations have come and gone, like you told me earlier. You
Mhm.
guys have hung in there. So.
yeah, we're still there, and it's
So-
like we're not gone. We're 13 years old.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, it's like
That's amazing.
That's old, and then streaming. Back then, the word stream wasn't around, the word
Right.
platform, or
Right.
now they call it podcasting, just a recording.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
we've been doing this. In 2014, we're doing podcasting. We even have the setup here for it. It says
Right,
podcasting,
right,
but
right.
we tell people, check out our podcast. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you know, this was crazy. Since you know we've last linked up, I'm now a radio guy in Colorado Springs.
Oh, we should talk about that. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
So I mean, since 2017, so
Yeah.
I've been doing almost 7 years. It's a jazz station in Colorado Springs, Jazz 93.5, and so that's my other job. That's become.
And you always say that I'm leaving my other job.
Yeah.
I like the way you say that.
Yeah, it's
And you
become
play
a
some
job.
great music, you know.
Thank
so,
you.
And you know, I try to bite off you, you know.
See,
So
I try to-
don't tell Tony I'm biting off him.
That's
Okay?
all right. That's how you do it, man. Like you
So I
do
say,
this
hey,
guy.
where'd you get that song from? Wait a minute.
Right.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, I do it all the time. I listen to,
You gotta listen to everybody. What they're
KUHS
doing.
been around for what, 40-something years
Yes,
now. So I listen to them, and I suggest to the other hosts in the Springs, like, check out this show. Listen to what they're doing in Denver.
Yeah, they changed that quite a bit.
They have.
They really changed it. There's one station in New York City that I pull in and just listen to their stuff, and they mixed. And I did that. I started mixing R&B, older R&B, with the jazz, and just kind of flipping, because some people like to not just straight the good jazz, but throw some older R&B.
And that's what I do on my show too.
See,
I call it
I was biting you.
See, that's all right, man. That's all right.
It works.
For you,
though.
it's cool. It works.
It works.
Yeah. So I have a show I do on Tuesdays where I do like classic, contemporary jazz, but I throw some R&B.
Yes, and that really.
People love it. They eat it right up.
Yes.
I'm talking about young and old, and it's some people have hit me up and say, I didn't know about that side of the music, and so they're understanding that, quote unquote smooth jazz isn't just Kenny G or
That's right.
or Dave KUHS, and then he had a different sound when he first came out. So
that's right.
I've been able to kind of educate a lot of people on my own personal influences, but just the music that people love, and that's one of my favorite shows that I do. I'm literally on the air every day. It's a job. So.
And it's neat. Like I said, what you're doing is, you're making a name for yourself. Like people listen to that station because of you. And if you did, you can put the music on, you can automate it, but it still isn't. If you don't have that live feel of Tony Exum talking about what's what, this song, that song, who was here, who was there, and then the mix, how you put those mixes together and how it comes out.
Yeah,
it takes a little bit.
It took me a while to find my personality with radio.
I try to tell everybody about that. The personality.
Yeah.
They say, well, what? I go, you can't be in here being all bland and boring.
Yeah, you got to find a
niche.
Voice,
yes.
find a niche, and I did that. Took
get
me
that
about
personality going.
A few months, and then as a result of that, the show that I was doing, because I started out just with a couple of hours a week.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 hours, maybe 5 hours a week, and then it grew to 7, then it grew to 11, then it grew to 15, and now it's 20 plus.
Yes.
So it's a blessing, and it's a lot of fun.
It
I
is.
have fun with it.
Yeah, and you can, because like I bring in Rob Mullins in here.
Oh yeah, I just talked to Rob not too long
He
ago.
likes to come in here, and he likes to just. He even says, "Man, every time I come in, you always got some crazy stuff to say, dude." Because I rag on him just for grins, and we have some fun,
Yeah.
But he travels all over. He's a great musician.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Have you played with him?
We're working on that now. He reached out. He even sent some songs to me that he hasn't recorded, some stuff that he thought I might be a good fit for me. He's a generous guy, but we had been talking for a while. And,
man, that would be a show and a half, wouldn't it?
I was like, man, we've got to hit the stage, dude. I was like, we've got.
What did he say?
He's all for it.
I'm telling you that. And do you hear that, Rob? If you're listening,
yeah, let's go, man.
We'll push the show.
Yeah,
it'd be easy. It'd be sold out in a half hour.
Oh yeah,
it would. I'm telling you.
He's the man.
Yeah, he's great. So he comes in. He was here for. There's a place in Boulder. It's a bike shop, and it turns into the supper club. It's wild, and so it's a jazz thing set up, and they just scoot all the bikes and everything aside, and they put all the tables, and then all of a sudden it's a supper club. It's wild. It's interesting, and it's in Boulder.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Colorado has some pretty interesting spots. You have to just kind of explore it. I mean, I played Nieces from once in a blue moon.
That's where the guy who owns this place owned Nieces.
Okay.
That's who put this up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
it's a bike shop, and then he separates it, and then.
Yes, he's got the right idea.
Yeah.
He's got the right, because I got to actually rebook Nieces for a future date, but
yeah, Nieces is great.
It's nice
kind of
room.
off the way, but it's a perfect place to go to and go have some fun.
If you're listening, Mark, you need to pick up where the Soul Dove left off, man. You got the perfect room for that, and you'll get the clientele.
Get going.
We need contemporary jazz like that back in Denver, because now all we have is Winter Park, or me every now and then, or of course our buddies, our buddies, Nelson and Dotsero, they are Denver superstars. But
there's another jazz place, a jazz house in Five Points area, isn't there? They serve food.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
they've been. I see them do some things, but not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot, but
because I don't think the talent buyer or whoever's in there doesn't quite know what to do.
Right. And it's another good room too.
Yeah,
sounding room. So I mean, there's potential for a lot of different places
to take over, to go
take over,
pick up
but
where.
we gotta keep it going. We got Winter Park Jazz Fest still. That's not going anywhere. But we need to have in the city, the area.
In the city, yeah.
Because that was Soul Dub was such a big deal. People felt right at home in that place.
So I was telling you, that was such a perfect spot that anybody from any area can go and find and go and have a good time.
Some of the best shows in my whole career right here at home on that stage. And so, to know that it's gone is heartbreaking. But, like I said,
Shelvis did a show in there just before they closed, too.
Yeah.
With the horn section and everything. She took the horn section of, what was the name of that band? I forget Brass Attack.
Oh yeah, Brass Attack. Yeah. My buddies, I think Philip Waden plays with them, and
yes.
Veronica sings with them.
Yeah.
Some of my
So
buddies.
she took the Brass Attack horn section, and she did a show, and she just doesn't do Elvis impersonation and stuff like that. She does some of the older stuff, old Chicago. I mean, all these variables she was putting in there.
Right.
Man, was that a great? And that was one of the last, or could have been the last shows that they did it. So and then they closed it up. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, just like
that was like
everybody
was, huh?
I had a date. I actually had my first.
What'd they tell you?
I had it booked. And big shout out to the lady that took over after Red left, Michelle Bishop. She was really pushing things forward, and we had talked about some great times. D. Lucas came and did his solo show and brought two, #1 artists with him, and I hosted
the keyboardist. He brought the keyboardist and
brought the keyboardist and Felicia on bass and Blake Aaron on guitar.
Yes.
Blake and I go way back, to my early days playing in Los Angeles, and it was a great show. So I said, okay, you know what? My band came to me and they said, Tony, when are you gonna just do you? Because I did one solo show there, and I brought my buddy Nathan Mitchell, who's the keyboardist, and Nathan is several times #1 artist. But they said, you should do just an evening with Tony Jackson Jr. I thought, okay, well, let me see what Michelle thinks. So my manager spoke to her, and I had a date booked. I was so excited. I was like, all right, this is gonna be a live recording. And it was we were going to do kind of the same thing that I'm doing at Dazzle now for that date. So that's one of the reasons why.
So it's kind of moved up over there.
Yeah, it's kind of moved up a week, and because it was originally going to be on August 24th.
Yeah.
Like I said, the contract was signed, and I had it on my website, and then, like I said, all of a sudden it was wait. I remember
it sent shockwaves all across the entertainment.
Yes.
Buyers, the musicians, everybody.
Artists. I mean, it's a nationwide. It was a destination spot for Denver. So it wasn't like it was just a Colorado thing. It was important to a lot of
everybody.
A lot of people. One of the last great shows I saw there was Will Downing. Last Labor Day weekend. I was looking forward to
Will Downing.
Some of my buddies that were coming to town. In smooth jazz. And my friends. I was going to try to attend a couple of their shows and just hang out, because I do that. If I'm off and not touring myself, I try to go out and support other bands.
Do you ever get on? I've seen you got on stage even at some of these.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. They shot me out every time. I have to be prepared now, because I don't go there like with the idea that I'm going to play. I go there just really to be supportive, hear my friends.
But they're calling you up, and that's
like,
what's cool.
Where's your horn, Tony? I'm like, okay, I'll go grab them. I'll never forget it. This is one great story. I've done this before, but the very famous international, the icon Najee. Najee called me up on stage. That's one of my heroes.
Called you up on stage.
Let me tell you how he did it, though. I was there. I wasn't even thinking about that, because I hadn't talked to him earlier to plan it. So I said, it's not a big deal. I mean, Najee, he's on speed dial. That's my guy. So I'm sitting there taking notes like I usually do, like watching him, listening to the band. And matter of fact, I took a little recording of the audio and I sent it to one of my band members. Like, do you hear these guys? Do you hear this? This is where we need to go. So the show's over and he's like doing like this. So the lady that's also on my team, Miss Pat Duncan, she's like, Tony, he's looking for you. So I walked up to the stage. He's like, man, you got your horn with you right now? I said, it's in the car, bro. He's like, dang it, I'm about to stop. He said, you ain't got a mouthpiece or nothing on you? I said, everything's in the car. He said, all right, man. So I go back and sit down there, and I'm kind of cracking up to myself. And this man, he did not have to do this. He gets the crowd going. He says, hey, Denver, y'all ready for me to go home? Y'all ready to go home? They're like, no. Ready for us to stop? No. She said, okay. He said, well, guess what? I will play longer if Tony Exum Jr. goes to get his saxophone.
Oh,
Crowd
no.
just erupted.
No, sir.
So I got up,
Put you on the
put me on the
spot.
spot. I had to get up and run up them steps. You guys know the Soul Dove had the long,
steep
so
steps. Yeah.
Glad I'm a little bit in shape because I had to run up those steps, and I just so happened to be parked right there at the top.
Oh, right in the front.
So I grabbed my horn real quick, ran back down. I'm in the front, that little front, where the desk is, throwing my horn together real quick. Walked up to the stage. We got it, and it's on YouTube.
And you jammed with him.
Not jammed with him. Matter of fact, Darren Ron was there. That's
Wow.
another friend of mine and someone I look up to quite a bit.
So that's captured.
So that was captured, and people were just. I mean, it was a great moment because I was just there the week before.
Whoa.
With D. Lucas and Marquell, we just did our nothing but the sax thing. So I wasn't gonna play. I was just gonna.
You're just there to enjoy.
Absolutely, and so for him to do that, not only did it show me, it's one of those bucket lists like full circle moments where
He caught you.
Yeah, but the thing about it is like this is a man that I grew up listening to. This is a man that my mother had his records when I was like 11, 12. When I first started playing, Najee was like the guy. He was on Video Soul and I used to watch his videos. Song Bet You Don't Know. The video used to come on, and I was like, man, I want to do that one day. And as I got older,
there you are.
And here I am on stage with him, and he called me up. I thought I'll catch him next time. I wasn't even upset or like, oh man, why didn't you play the horn?
Oh Lord.
I was just like, I laughed it off. I was like, you know how we do, man. Because that's the relationship we have now.
Yeah, you thought it was.
So I just kind of cracked up like, okay, next time, Tony, be prepared. But I wasn't like, wow, I missed out. When he did that, I thought.
Because you thought you missed out, but you didn't. He got you.
He got me, and that shows the level of respect that one of your musical heroes has for you. It's that kind of stuff that keeps me going. Man.
Wow.
That's like.
Yeah.
All I could do was just smile and think. There was a time when I dreamed about doing what he does, when I couldn't wait to meet him.
And you're on stage with him.
I'm on stage with him, like.
But Tony, you know, but you're so humble though. You forget what your music's like. You forget your delivery. You forget who you are.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think about it.
You don't think about it. You think, oh, I'm looking at this guy, but
Yeah.
he's looking at you like, dude, I see you coming.
Yeah, he's been very much a champion for me. Him and other artists of that caliber that we look up to. So it's really nice, very rewarding, and very really fuels a sense of accomplishment when the cats you grew up listening to are like, I like it. You're doing your thing.
And what's so cool too, Tony, is like you're a local guy. Remember back in the day, if you're a local guy, you just don't shine huge here, but you go to other cities, you shine big. And,
right.
And you think, wait a minute, but then what you were saying right now with Rob Mullins and you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I mean, he's originally from Denver.
Right.
And so you two, I'm telling you, that would be.
All right,
have to
Rob,
have
if you're
two
listening,
shows.
come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
Rob,
go.
he's listening.
I'm gonna text him and tell him, hey man, because Henry said this do a show, we gotta do a show.
Yeah, it would. I'm telling you, it would, 2 shows, it would sell out both of them.
Yeah,
just like that.
I
You
think
know
it.
it. Yeah,
It certainly would, and that'd be great for me as a player because Rob's music is great, and he is, such a high caliber musician.
Yes.
I that's what you want to surround yourself by. I
Those
tell
high
younger
caliber
musicians
ones, yes.
all the time, like, try to spend as much time around people that are better than you, more experienced than you are, so you can soak that in. That's how great artists develop, because they're either around guys that are with them, but they also have people that are more experienced and generally better, older or younger. It doesn't matter. There's some young guys out there that are blowing. I'm like, I want to know what you do. I don't get intimidated by that at all. I just soak it all in, and it just keeps me going. And for me, it's like, okay, this young cat, because I mean nowadays you got these 8-year-old bass players on YouTube just killing. Like,
wait a minute,
your fingers can't even fit and they're like, you sit there and you're thinking, okay,
Oh
is there something in the water over there? Something different, but
there is. It's the technology that's hitting everybody.
Yeah, these kids are coming up where they have access to so much information that they can soak it all in. So I get encouraged, and it makes me smile, makes me say, okay, music is not over with. There's the babies are picking it up. So this.
Oh, but you got this new album coming out too. I mean,
yes.
You got the delivery of this new album, and you've been cutting some really good stuff.
Thank you.
Like I was telling you, it's the kind of music that you can do anything with. You know what I mean? And like I always have in my mind a bottle of wine and chilling out, honey, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the other stuff is that you can even dance to some of your music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have the variables and you have it really well done. So this new album, how long did it take you to put that together?
It's
a year or two?
It's been about the last couple of years and just compiling
kind of,
different tracks and.
So you got it all.
So I got it all together. So there's still a couple more songs that I want to complete before I drop it, but for the most part, the album is done. So I'm looking at a radio single coming out in September, along with the album. Today, you know, it's a different world that we're living in. So one of the reasons I've been taking so long is I've been kind of back and forth on album versus EP. You know,
so a lot of people do the EPs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I've seen that too because we get a lot of the EPs here. We get stuff delivered to us through a thing called Platinum Delivery. I don't know if you get that too.
Yeah.
And I get all these different songs, and some of them will say EP, and I think, okay, we only have a few songs on there. But I like the full albums. You know.
Me too. It's been a long time since I put out a full album, so I'm kind of leaning towards that to give the fans, the actual third album. You know, I put out a lot of singles. I'm on a lot of people's records. You know, since the last 10 years, you know, I've been doing a lot of collaborations with artists in my genre, and some outside of it. So I've been a special guest on there's at least 15 or 16 records out there that just say featuring Tony X across the board. You know, with young guys, the smooth jazz, R&B. So I was doing that for a while, and I was like, and then just dropping, singles. But I got to give my fans more than that, And I'm still a little bit competitive. I'm looking at my peers and guys are putting out albums. I'm like, okay, so put the album out, and then let that be the way to get to the next one. So from here on out, instead of just getting singles from me, you're gonna start getting full projects.
Nice, yeah. And that's just really nice about your stuff, Tony. Is like there's like I said, some of your songs. I mean, you can go back and listen to Tony's older albums, and it still resonates really well. And he's bringing out more and more. So how many total do you have out now?
So basically, I have 2 full-length albums, 1 EP, and about 5 or 6 singles over the years.
And I remember there was one that you had just put out, and it was kind of far back, but it really was. It resonated. It was one of those good ones.
Yeah.
This one just hits, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate you because you've always played my stuff, whatever I've sent you. You kept that. You kept the sound alive.
And that's what we both talk about the shows that we both do, and we do always reach back and kind of put the other stuff back in there to see how it's doing to this day. I got one of Rob Mullins's songs, and it was a 10-year-old song, and it had a little rap on it. There's a young chick rapping on there, and I go, wait a minute, this will work.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's an old song, that's 10 years old, watch.
Right.
And so some of your music could happen like that.
Yeah.
Like you may be older, but then you play it again, it's like, wow, I like that new song. What new song?
That's so funny you said that, because it just happened to me on a Canadian radio station that does smooth jazz. A lady named JC Soul. She's an artist too. She got the track from one of my Atlanta buddies, who used to be here, DJ Sparks. Sparks Radio. He's in Atlanta now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he moved back out there, and so he called me and said, hey man, there's this lady in Canada. She loves your song, Don't Run From Love. I said, wow, that's been out for about 4 years now. I put that out right as the pandemic, while we were right dead in the middle of it. Matter of fact, me and sax player named Vandale Andrew did that track together. He produced it, and we did it as a duet. And since we were all stuck at home, I was like, man, we should just put out some music. He said, man, go ahead and release it. Because I was gonna hold it for the record, but I put it out, and so it's been out there for a while. But it's new to her.
Yeah.
So she called me. She said, hey, can you give me a nice radio drop, and I'm gonna feature. I'm gonna start putting this in rotation. I said, of course. So even though that's an older single, but for Canada, they've never.
It's brand new.
Brand new. So I was like.
So that did happen to you. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
You can. It doesn't matter. It's like now that you have it recorded and it's out there and it's rolling. You don't know where it's going to all of a sudden pop up. Now DW3 did one with us. We launched it was in 2017, and it didn't hit till 2020 or 2021. It hit real good. It's like it took almost 4 years, like you said, for the album to just kind of lift.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't know when it's going to lift. All of a sudden, oh, everybody likes this. So, okay, what happened here?
It's funny how that works. But I think with the way the music business is structured now, with so much independent music out there,
and then the way you sell it and upload it and do all that kind of thing. So, the record companies don't know what to do now.
Yeah. So people discover you. People discover you you know, I have people that just now listening to my first record, you know, and it's like, oh man, I was back in, I recorded in '09 and released it in 2010, so, you know, that's me back then. But they're like, oh, you love this, like.
That's what I was telling you.
And you just have to appreciate that. You know?
And a lot of people do because it sounds so good still. You know, it's like, wow, and you're on your best game there too. You know, it's like I'm starting to sound and do this really good, but it didn't hit. But now it hits. It's like you don't know when it's going to come out and just be a knockout punch. You know.
Yeah. So you just have to be ready for that part. And in other countries, then with Spotify, like they're getting discovered in other countries that weren't listening to me before. Just staying consistent on that. So, there's many artists that are listening, it might be old to you, but sometimes it's brand new to a new fan. So,
that's right. I like the way that works. I like that saying.
Yeah.
Maybe old to you, but it's brand new to a new fan.
Yeah, so just appreciate that, because when someone discovers your music, you build your fan base one by one, and with one fan can come 10 or 20 or 25 new people, because that one person says, hey, I like this guy, he's in Colorado, his name's Tony Exum Jr., and oh, I like that. That's how it works. Word of mouth is still a big force in what we do. So
it's a big one, yes.
Yeah, so don't underestimate that side of it. I just want people to understand that it's a blessing to have that, for that to even happen. I mean, I wasn't getting any airplay consistently in Canada at all, so I'm like, okay,
this will work.
That's so now I have a connection. So I sent her. She played that. I said, okay, well, let me send you the rest of my stuff, and you just do what you want to do. In Germany, there's a.
As you say, Germany, yeah, Germany is big on the jazz.
Yeah, they love it, and it's cool, because I lived there as a kid, and this is like when it was East Germany, West Germany. This is back in the '80s, so still Berlin Wall was still up. It was still a lot of that Cold War stuff going on. So I know what it's like over there to have early childhood memories living in a little village called Vogelway. Stepdad was in the Air Force, so we lived there for about 3 years. And recently, a great artist, I don't know if you know who they are, I'm going to hip you to them if you're not, they call themselves Three Style. And the saxophone player is a female, her name is Magdalena Chovenkova. She's very good. One of my favorite songs by them, they did a rendition of Smokey Robinson's Cruisin'.
Ooh, nice.
Talented, but they have their own radio show. So the guy from the group hit me up, said, "Hey Tony, we'd like to interview you. We've been wanting to do this for a while." I'm like, yes. So
this will work. She
called me up, and I did an interview pre-recorded, all the way over there in Germany.
Wow.
And that was special, because I told her, I said, I lived out there as a kid.
So you know how to.
Yeah, so I have great memories of.
How to speak the land is like what I call it, speaking the land.
Yeah, just in visiting other parts of Europe, and just getting that experience as a military brat. So, as we call it,
military.
Brat. Yeah, Air Force brat. I'm an Air Force guy. Stepdad was in the Air Force for 25 years. So, it's cool. So to have that experience, talking to her, and we did it over the phone. And it's so great with technology,
Oh, technology is off the hook right now.
I was on the phone, and someone called me. It's like, because they were calling me while I was talking. I was doing an interview for a German radio station. They're like, huh? It's like, yeah, it's a German, that's going to air next week. We were just pre-recording the interview. And, you're worldwide now as an indie artist. You got access to
everything,
the entire planet. So if you work it right, you can make your mark in places you may never see. People may never see you live, but they'll listen to your music. And American music is worldwide. It's big everywhere, So there's a whole other world across that pond. And so I'm like, I got to make my way over there. So I have a bucket list of countries I want to play at some point. But,
and we have Greg Rashid in Bangkok, Thailand, but he's changed his format of his show to boxing. But he had a show with playing all the music, and he used to be on KUVO and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But he's now based in Bangkok, Thailand, as KUHS.
Wow.
So we had to do the sign up with the government to get us in there, and it's all this crap, and then they had to go approve it into Vietnam, and we finally got it done. So now he was doing all this great music, and he had a lot of the jazz on there, the old jazz artists. He would do everything. He was really good at what he did.
You'd be surprised how many artists that you think aren't around anymore are making their living over there.
I know, that's what else. They go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
so they live here in the States, but they tour like the Philippines, South. Don't sleep on the Southeast Asia, because that's a huge market for American music. Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, like you said, Hong Kong. Some of those countries really like what we do.
Well, Tony,
it's cool.
I always ask you, and you never let me down. You probably brought your sax, or do you have to run out to the car?
No, I got it. I'm prepared this time, y'all.
Yeah, you don't have to run up the stairs because there are stairs out there.
Right.
But, everybody, I've had this about 10 times. People come up the stairs because it says J at the top. I go, there's an elevator right there in the glass.
I like that elevator.
Yeah, just go right up the elevator. And he goes, I'm glad I had to haul it. I didn't want to haul stuff up here. And so, you ready to play for our fan base?
Sure.
And see what we got going here. But before we do that, I'm going to do something here real quick. And I'll step off the studio way, but I'm going to bring up our traffic and see what we got going here. And then you can set up your horn and we'll get prepared to listen to Tony Exum. If you're watching, Tony says, yeah, I'll do this. And I'm glad to have brought Tony Exum into our, be into our new studio and play a little something for you on his sax. He's got the new music coming out. He's going to be at Dazzle. There's going to be all these different variables going on. So you stick with this as I get all prepared up for you. And just to let you know, we're going to do a shout out to Peru, Japan, United States, France, Brazil, Greece, Argentina, Nigeria, India, and Malaysia. Welcome to KUHS Denver. This is a special presentation by KUHS Entertainment, and we're proud to have donating our studio, Mr. Tony Exum. So he's going to get up and he's going to play on the backside here a little something with his sax. He's going to do his thing. So you want to stick around to this. It's going to be awesome. But I'm going to get off the way while he sets up and prepares to do his thing. So with that being said, I'm going to move my chair off the way to get prepared for Tony Exum.
Send you a track. You want me to play to a track or just play whatever?
Yeah, just play whatever. Right down the side. You can go.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can do
you
that.
have the track right away.
Yeah, if you just want me to play by myself.
Yeah, just sideways.
Okay.
Because I have it set up right back where I can see. I can
Nice. Okay.
right down sideways, right down the middle. Right.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready, man, whenever you are.
It's been ready, brother.
Oh, okay. My bad. I was waiting for you.
Fire up.
Okay. Just do a little warm up, y'all. So I need to face this way, right?
Yes, sideways if you like.
Okay. All right, let's go.